Hey everyone, welcome to Limitless Radiocast, episode 104. That's right, Chad and I are back, bringing you guys great content. We can't be thankful enough for all you guys that stuck with us. Ton of downloads over the time that we've been off. We decided to get back after it, and today we're hanging out with our good friend Nate Smith. He's a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu purple belt under Chad Kuhn out of East Coast Martial Arts located in Canton, Ohio. So you guys sit back, relax, turn that volume up, and enjoy the show. Hey everyone, this show is also being brought to you by 13 Emeralds Tattoo Company located in Canton, Ohio, Warpath 55 located in Massillon, Ohio, Lanky Fight Gear, OldBonesTherapy.com, Thomas Webb of D. Hoff Realtors, Candry Law LLC, Magic City Brewing Company, M&H Beans Coffee Company, Ronald E. Butler Tax and Accounting LLC, Limitless Tape. Listen guys, these are our sponsors and they help us tremendously each and every week do this show, so we ask you guys to support them as much as they support us. Now enjoy the show. Hey everybody, welcome to the show. Yes, and I already screwed up, Chad, because my hand got caught on the microphone. This is awesome. Guys, I know we haven't been having a show for quite some time. Chad and I have talked about it over the months, and, you know, we just felt like we weren't done doing this. Like we needed to come back. We still needed to, you know, shoot some information out there, give people the opportunity and a platform to talk about, you know, life and things and, you know, being limitless. You know, that's kind of how we started this in the first place. So we're back at it. We got a lot of 2024 stuff scheduled and ready to go. We're going to be bringing shows and content as much as we possibly can. We're both busy and we have an awesome guest with us today. But before I say that, I'm going to tell you guys this show is being brought to you by Limitless Tape. We're going to do that first and foremost. There will be a code that you guys can get. I believe, Chad, tell me, is it going to be Limitless 15?
Yeah, it'll be that. Right. I haven't activated it quite yet. I got to get on that, but yes, there will be.
And everyone out there that's listening, and please pass the word on. If you have an academy or know someone that has an academy, please reach out. So you guys can get personalized gear, merchandise made for your academy, your martial arts studio, whatever have you. Limitless is on the next level, to be quite honest with you. So I just want to let you guys know that the show is going to be brought to you by that. And that's it. So we're just going to get in with our good friend, Nate. He is a teacher by day and a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu purple belt by night. And he's also a good friend. He is a purple belt under Chad Kuhn out of East Coast Martial Arts located in Canton, Ohio. Nate Smith, thanks for hanging out. And I'm sorry that I butchered the beginning of this because I'm like July, I think is the last time I recorded of 2023. Yeah. So I'm kind of terrible at this. So you're going to have to give me a minute, guys. I'm old. So Nate, what's up, man?
I was impressed with that intro, Terry. That was
thanks. See, I would have did fine if Chad wouldn't have said anything. And then I instantly got nervous and was like, oh no, I'm going to mess this all up. But actually, that's pretty much how we run our show. Not that way, but we run it very organically, straightforward. We don't try to sugarcoat things. We don't try to be something that we're not. And we don't try to go out there and make goofy stuff about whatever. This is what you guys are going to get. Two real people talking about real life stuff.
That's it.
So, you know. So what's going on, Nate? How's life treating you?
Life is good. Yeah. Kind of feel like I'm in a transitional stage of life right now. Like starting at a new job at a public school and currently moving right now. So a lot of things going on in life, but everything's good.
Nice.
Family's healthy. I'm healthy. Been doing a lot of training lately. So it's been good.
Good. How's training going? How you feeling?
I feel good. Yeah. I had a layoff for a while, like kept getting sick and stuff like that. And got my, I had a pretty major medical event. I was out for a while and came back training, got my purple belt. So I've been a purple belt for a little bit over a year now. Was able to get my first stripe last week, which was pretty awesome with a good buddy. So yeah, training's been good.
And Nate's selling himself short a little bit on the medical side. He actually had a big thing happen. I'm just going to ask you, Nate, you want to talk about it, or you feel free to talk about it? Or are you open to talk about it?
Yeah, it was kind of out of nowhere. It happened.
So tell everyone what it was called. Well, like, what is there a name to it?
Yeah, so I had what ended up having a cerebrospinal fluid leak out of my nose. on top of a
Wild.
infection, which often is a symptom of the leak.
Hmm.
Yeah, it came out of nowhere. I've always had really bad allergies, and I had a sinus surgery about 9 months before this event. And I just kept getting sick with sinus infections over and over and over. I'm like, what is going on? And then one day I bend over and all this clear fluid comes out of my nose, and I'm like, that's kind of weird. And my mom's like, you need to go to the ER. I'm like, I'm fine. Stop. Guys know my mom. She don't play around. She ends up dragging me down there. Turns into a 15-day hospital stay. Like almost died. Ended up having to get emergency brain surgery, where they went up through my nose to kind of patch the leak, and the infection was so bad. I was on like IV antibiotics, nuclear. But it was rough. Yeah, it was out of nowhere. Um, Ended up healing up fine after that, and was able to get back to training not too long after. So crazy event out of nowhere.
It was nuts.
It's super crazy. So when Chad reached out to me and told me and, gave me the lowdown of death, like, yeah, he's kind of close. Like I don't want to say that lightly, because it was a very serious situation, but I was like, wait, what? Hold on a second. Like, hold on. He was just there like not long ago. Like, what's going on? Like, how did all this happen? And then, Chad was giving me the details and stuff. And obviously, a lot of people, sending out prayers and thoughts for you, and, keep, trying to, making sure you're okay. And then to hear it now tonight, I actually completely forgot it was that bad until now. And it's like, man, like you're back, like back 100%, like you're rolling, and you're not rolling like me. Like I'm rolling once or twice, and I'm like, I'm going to go throw up now, because I haven't rolled since the end of July, and that's only because I decided to go hang out with my children.
Yeah.
For no apparent reason, because they're a bunch of lovely little children.
I tell you what, throughout the whole situation, it was interesting because my mom was kind of the one who was updating everybody, because I was conditioned, and she would always tell me how Chad was asking about me, Chad's asking about me, and she's giving Chad these updates, and I was just like, not that I was surprised, but I was like, wow, like the East Coast family really kind of rallied around me, and he was feeding updates to people. And I remember when I came back, I got a shirt like with everybody's signature on it, and that was really awesome. So
yeah, I knew it was bad to begin with. When I get I had a phone call and no number showed up. I'm like, whoever it is, they'll leave a message if they want something. And it was Nate's mom. I'm like, man, if you get a voicemail from somebody's mom,
right?
Either I'm in trouble or or something's wrong.
That's the only two ways it's going to happen.
Like, Nate finally told his mom that I wrist locked him, and she's calling me.
Right.
The first time.
Yeah. But so
I even remember sitting in my hospital bed, and Jay Stu was in a really super fight. I believe it was in a cage, and it was being filmed.
Oh, yeah, the one in Columbus.
Yeah,
it was the first Twisted Church. It was the first. Yeah, I think so.
But I remember sitting in my hospital bed streaming it, and I saw him get that heel hook, and I literally shot up out of my bed, and I was like, let's go.
That's awesome. Yeah.
Finally, some excitement, some good stuff like you can, rally behind. Did you feel a difference like after you started healing, like when you came back to the gym? Did you notice anything like, oh, okay, my head's going to be feeling a little different for a while? Did any of that affect you at all?
Honestly, no. Like it was the biggest thing that got me was the antibiotics I was on. They were through an IV, and I mean, they were intense. Like I said, nuclear.
Yeah.
Other than that, no, my head was totally fine. I took it pretty easy. Like the first night I didn't roll, and then like the second night I did one roll and kept building. I remember I walked in, and Dan Cantry he sees Trace walking in. He says, when Trace gives you a hug, he's like, act like he squeezed your back too hard. Pretend fluid is coming out of your nose.
Oh, yeah.
Man, I don't know if I can do that. I'm not that guy. He's like, just do it. So Trace up to me, he's like, dude, oh my gosh. Gives me this big hug. And I turn around, I'm like, oh, geez, no. And Trace, I have never to this day seen him act like that, just genuinely concerned. He was so
that's awesome. Which If you're new to the show, you will hear us talk about Trace a lot on this show because we pick on him. Phenomenal young man, phenomenal young athlete in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. But he's kind of like our little brother that we all pick on.
Yeah.
So he's in his 20s. He's a young buck. Good kid, though. Good kid.
Yeah.
So, well, I'm so glad, man, that you're back and there's no side effects, and that you're able to, live your life, obviously, and get back to, having normacy. You know what I mean? I mean, that's a hard ordeal to go through. I mean, anyone that goes through a serious medical condition and something like yours, it's like I remember when Chad was like, his spinal fluid leaking from his nose. I was like, how was that even possible? Like, I'm like, did someone like jab a hole in there? I was like, what?
There was a hole. Yeah.
But then, I have a relative. She had a spinal leak and she was getting headaches real bad. And it was from an epidural from having a baby. It was her third boy. And out of nowhere, didn't know what was wrong, and it was so severe. Like it was rough, and they finally figured it out what was wrong and patched it, and she's completely fine now and everything. This is years and years ago, but that's the first thing I thought. I was like, oh no, like that's not good. Like you need that stuff. I know. Like it's kind of an important fluid.
Yeah, I learned a lot about all that I never thought I would.
Yeah, I'm sure, man. I'm sure, definitely. When's the first day you walked into the gym? You remember?
I do. So it was
old gym. Was it the old gym?
Yeah.
Okay.
I started training in 2015 when I was at a freshman in college. The first time I walked into the gym was probably early December. No, it might have been in October on fall break. I had started training at my college through somebody that was involved with the gym who actually cut my hair. She's like, you got to go to East Coast. You're the best.
Oh, nice.
But
facts.
Yeah,
dude, by the way,
my gym was probably October of 2015, I want to say.
Oh, okay. Nice.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, like getting into jiu-jitsu was kind of crazy. I had grown up. I was a basketball player growing up, and I wouldn't consider myself athletic at all. I played basketball, wasn't the best. I was kind of like a hustle player. But going into college, I wasn't good enough to play college ball. So I knew there's some sort of outlet I wanted to do.
Sure.
So I went to Grove City College, which is in Western Pennsylvania, right across from Youngstown, right over the Ohio State border. And they had this big thing called a club fair, which is basically you show up to the gym, every club in the whole school, they make a booth, and they deck it out. I mean, there's lights, presentations.
Oh, nice.
So there's fencing club, there's chess club, there's IM basketball, ultimate frisbee. So me and my college buddies are walking around. We're like, all right, what are we gonna do? Like big men on campus.
Sure.
So we're walking around, and like I said, every table is decked out to the nines. And we see this table. It's just a plain white folding table, nothing on it whatsoever. And then a white piece of paper and this little dude standing next to it in a gi with the belt on. And we're like, dude, get a look at this guy. Like, look. So we go talk to him just honestly as a joke. Got to see what this dude's all about because this sucks. And we talked to him. He introduces himself. He was a blue belt in jiu-jitsu. And he told us that jiu-jitsu, if you stick with this, you'll know how to fight. You'll know how to protect yourself. You'll get a six-pack abs. And I was like, sign me up.
Nate right away was like, wait, you sold me.
Still six-pack. But me and my buddies, we sign up. We're still kind of like, it's just a joke at this point for us. Like, we're like, okay, we're going to show up and just see what happens. So it was a Tuesday night, I remember, and we're up in this dance room with these two little blue mats taped to the floor. And he's in a gi. We're in like basketball shorts and t-shirts. And there's about 9 dudes in there. He lines us all up on the wall. And this is college. So he says, the first one of you guys to tap me, I'll buy you a pizza. So when you're in college and you hear that, that's basically somebody's buying you a Lamborghini.
You're like, that's right. Yes, exactly. We're all starving.
We're broke.
We're broke. Pizza? Yeah, baby.
So you see everybody kind of like perk up a little bit, you know what I mean? And he just goes down the line. I mean, no introduction, nothing. He goes down the line. We step onto the mat and he rolls with everybody for about 7, 8 minutes. No breaks. One by one.
Man, like a Shark Tank almost.
Oh yeah. But with him the whole time.
That's what I mean. Yeah.
I was like the third guy in, and I watched a couple dudes go, and he is just laying waste to these dudes. And these are big. I remember there was like an offensive tackle there that was on the football team. These are big dudes that think they know how to fight. So it's, I mean, you know, when a new white belt comes in, how that kind of crazy.
Mhm.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And then he just told them, "I'll buy you a pizza if you tap me out." So this is the energy through the room. There's so much testosterone; it's off the charts. He's tapping these guys out like 8 or 9 times in 6 minutes, and it's my turn. And I had grown up watching the UFC. Like when I was little, I would sneak Spike TV and watch UFC Unleashed.
Nice.
And I hated the submissions. When it went to the ground, I would be like, "Oh my gosh, this is so boring. Stand up." I was that guy. Stand up and bang.
Yeah.
But just through watching UFC, I trained UFC. I knew how to do a guillotine, or I saw a guillotine choke. So that was my plan going in. I was like, I'm going to guillotine this guy. So I walk in, and I was probably 170, 160 pounds then. And he was a smaller guy. Dude beat the brakes off me like I have never felt in my life. And I said, how was I walking around my whole life not knowing that this man can do this to me? Like,
Yeah.
Sure.
pain. And from then on, I was just hooked.
You were hooked. Yeah.
Oh man, I was there every night. I loved it.
I think
So-
something happens to everyone that goes through that process or understands of going, something clicks. It's like, oh, I'm nothing. Like not like I'm nothing, but I thought I was strong. I thought I was this or that. And then, I mean, you're humbled, obviously. And so many people walk around, you know, very egotistical, obviously, but when you're willing and to put yourself out there like that and do it, and then you humble yourself, you're like, oh, okay, I know nothing. I'm an ignorant person that knows nothing. And then getting into it, you're like, I need to know how to do that, because what you just did, you know, like, I want to feel that. I want to be able to do that and not feel how you just made me feel anymore, ever again. You really realize I don't want to feel like that. I thought I would never feel like that until you made me feel like that. And, you know, it's not like two people getting into, you know, a fist fight like that don't know how to fight, which is hilarious because you're just swinging haymakers as hard as they can, you know, 5 feet away from their body and hitting nothing and, you know, like in the air and just, you know, helicopter swinging or whatever. And you're like, yeah, you don't know anything, you know? So that's good on you, man. That's awesome, dude.
And it was interesting too. Like, when we were in there and he would run this class and guys would come in and out, you know what I mean? But there was kind of a core group that stuck around, and I went home on fall break and I was Googling Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu gyms near me. And I kind of had some places researched, and I went to get my hair cut, and I went to this lady. This was the first time I went to her, and she's like, "What have you been doing since you started college?" And I threw it out there, like thinking she's like, "Oh, karate or something." I said I just started training Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, and she's like, "Oh, I know what that is." And I was like, "What?" Because at that time, you mention it to people, they have no idea what it is.
Yeah.
Oh, she's like, "You got to go to East Coast." I trained there. Her boyfriend at the time trained there, and she's like, "They're the best." So I remember sending Chad. I either emailed you, Chad, or a Facebook message. I can't remember.
Yeah, I don't know.
My 3 buddies or 2 buddies in college, they actually were all from like kind of the North Canton, Hartville area, and we had met at Grove City and we're training together. So we actually came in on a fall break, and Chad kind of cut us a little bit of like a college deal just because we were coming in on breaks, and that's when I was introduced to East Coast. So.
Nice. And that was, Chad, was that the other gym down the last one before
the last one?
Now?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep, in Jackson.
Yeah, in Jackson there in the corner.
Yeah.
Which it's not that it matters, but that place is still empty.
I know. Yeah.
There's nothing in that place.
The one before that is still empty too.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Well,
yeah.
East Coast leaves its mark, and
we leave our mark. Yeah.
No one else wants to go there because they know they can't handle. They just can't handle the remnants of what's left inside that place.
Yeah. Yeah.
that's built up in there.
That's right.
Yeah. That's awesome, man. I think I asked you this before at the gym. What's your favorite? Like, do you have a favorite go-to now that you've been training for so long? Purple belt, you have a lot of years under your belt. Is there like go-to moves that you like on the regular?
Yeah,
So
I would
like the
say
over-under?
over underpass all day
Yeah.
long.
Yeah.
You already know. Um, my favorite submission, or probably the one I hit the most, is a Kimura. Um, I don't know why, but ever since I started training, it just clicked for me.
Mhm.
Ever since then, I've just kind of honed it a little bit, and Chad's taught me some cool ways to finish it, or a bunch of cool ways to finish it, and
Sure.
that's always been my move. I feel like.
Yeah. You got that little overhook series from Bottom Guard now too that you've been running, right?
Oh, yeah, I remember. Was it Broom? He taught me.
Probably.
Yeah, he taught me Williams guard way back in the
Oh,
day.
that too. Yeah. Yeah.
I love running that under like the overhook and then trapping it with my leg going to Williams guard.
Yeah.
That was kind of like he would do it to me all the time, and I'm like, I cannot get my arm out of here.
Yeah. There's been rumor of him coming back, and I say rumor, that's my rumor, but I talked to him a couple weeks ago, and he keeps hitting that coming back. And I'm like, dude, I mean,
He's
you know,
he's one of the OGs.
yeah, he was before me.
Yeah.
You know, he was before me and my first instructor, and taught me so much.
Yeah.
Taught me so much. And I'm going to start calling this, you guys like, I like the straight arm bar, right? I hit it from and I learned that from Broom, and we used to call it the broomstick.
Really?
That was the name because
nice.
that's his last name, and it's straight like a broomstick.
Yeah.
So I need to bring that name back.
I've been armbarred by Chad in that so many times. Like every time, if now it became a spot where I would think about it when rolling with him, because I would be more concerned about that than anything else, which is completely stupid to do because then you're like hosed on everything else. But anytime you put your hand down on accident or something close to his head or somewhere where he can get that straight arm, it's like, bam, and it's instantaneously. It's like,
oh yeah,
crud.
Times the other day, so I'm right there with you.
That's awesome.
Then he always looks at you when he hits it.
What I do?
Give me a little look every time you hit
it.
Oh,
a little.
I know, that's the thing. Like he'll hit it and let go.
Stop. Yeah. And like I've had enough, the muscle memory, and I had enough reps doing that when I hit it, it's on.
It's,
you know what I mean? Like,
not even bad. You know what I mean?
No.
Not egregious in any way.
I've tried to explain to people like, I can't believe I let you do that. And I'm like, listen, you didn't let me do that.
Right.
But the best, and that's not being cocky at all, but the best thing about that is I really want the sweep. I want the butterfly sweep from most of those arm
times
bars.
when you get those hands down.
But no matter how, you can't untrain your brain. When we're little, we're not taught to put our hands out when we fall.
Mm-hmm.
You just do it. Right. So when you go to get swept, you're going to post or you're going to get swept. So if you post, I'm just going to take that straight arm bar. If you don't, we're just going to go to the sweep. So unless you can post and get your arm back quick enough and, get your balance, which can happen too.
That was a goal.
But yeah,
we got to go. Felt better.
Yeah. Before we get too far deep off topic, we got to go back to Nate's origin and how he started teaching at the club in Pennsylvania too. He's got
I didn't know this. Okay.
Some crazy stories.
Oh, so you started teaching in this club after you went to, you went to the class and whatever.
Afterwards? And then did he move? Is that why you took over?
He graduated.
He graduated. There you go. Yeah. He graduated.
He was a sophomore or a junior, I think, when our freshman, I think he was a junior. So he was there with me for 2 years, and I was training at East Coast while training with him for about 2 years. And even like, I feel East Coast then compared to now is a really different place.
Oh,
not like a bad, but when I first came in, I remember the first guy I ever rolled with went Stinson fresh off his blue belt.
Yep.
Pat Schottenheimer. Dave Miller.
Oh, Dave was there.
Yeah.
Johnny Kress.
Yeah.
I remember vividly. Those are the first 4 guys I rolled with.
That's rough.
Nothing like introduction to Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu at East Coast.
First night I came in, it was me and my 2 buddies from college. They didn't end up sticking with Jiu-Jitsu. I was kind of
I was going to ask you if out of all the guys that signed up at that club, were you the only one that stuck?
I was pretty much the only one that stuck it all the way through. But the gym back then, like we all came in with basketball shorts and t-shirts on. And I remember Barto just openly pointing at us and just belly laughing. He's like, look at the idiots in front of the whole gym.
Yeah.
And it was like he wasn't being mean.
No, he probably had the same outfit on. That's the funny part.
But he had like a top with like blue pants.
Yeah.
Mismatched. But anyway.
Yeah.
And like the gym then too, depending on the class, was pretty hardcore. Like the guys that were in there came from that old school wrestling style. So the classes were hard. Like, and I remember the nights that Chad would teach, I'd be like, I want to go to those nights. The other one's much for me.
Yeah.
But yeah, anyway, so it was kind of cool having that college training and then coming home and being able to train at East Coast. And so eventually his name was Ian Worrell. He ended up graduating and I was a 2 or 3 stripe white belt, I believe, my junior year. And I was basically the next guy up. Nobody else was going to take over the club. So I had to take, not I had to, but I wanted to keep it going because I wanted to train it. Like at this time, I kind of had a core group of guys that they were training at home too when they would go home for break. So
good.
We're all using this as, hey, we're still going to keep sharp on our skills. But it was hard. I mean, being a 3 stripe white belt and teaching people, you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's difficult for sure. I couldn't imagine doing that. I mean, when Chad talks, about being, what, you're 2 stripe or 1 stripe when you took over the program?
Me too.
White belt, 2 stripe white belt.
Yeah.
It's like, and to think, it's awesome now when you think back and you're like, yeah, you're 2 stripe black belt now. Like that's
I will be. Yeah.
Or yes, but it's super impressive. You know what I mean? In terms of like where you came from, and you took a program over, and then here you are, people are looking at you like, teach me how to do this. And you're trying to figure it out at the same time. You know what I mean? As much as you can.
Yeah.
So Nate, you're kind of in that same situation. Like you're put in a position where it's like, crap, let me gather as much information as I possibly can and study or whatever you can to do that. I do have a question though. Did you do the club thing too? Like, did you set up a stand? Did you make lights and make it all fancy this time for the nines? Or did you just do the white table to get people to come?
We upgraded it a little bit.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. I remember I still wore the gi. I don't think I wore it when I was a white belt. I didn't wear my gi.
Yeah.
I just wore a regular shirt. I was like, I'm not going to stand out there.
Like, I'm not. No. Did you offer a pizza to all the people that came first too?
No, I did. Cause at that point I was like, I don't know if I could back that up.
Like, right. That's the thing. You're just like, and
no. A lot of the guys that came in at white belt, like even as a 2 stripe white belt, cause these are like college kids. Like they're wanting to get after it.
Yeah. They're bulls in a China stop, man.
Oh yeah. I was able to get the better of them most of the time, but there was nights where I would go, like I would leave the gym and I'd call Chad and be like, Chad, like these 2 dudes were just taking it at me and there wasn't much I could do.
Yeah.
And Chad was always like, yeah, you're going to have nights like that, man. Like you're not out there to just destroy them. Like you're teaching them jiu-jitsu, and if a guy is strong and athletic, your level of technique has to be so much better to get the better of them. Like even as a purple belt, if like a D1 wrestler comes in, that's
gonna be rough.
It's gonna be,
I'm probably not gonna be this guy like 9, 10, like, you know what I mean? It's gonna be tough.
Yeah. It's gonna be a 6 minute fight.
Well,
let's be honest. You know what I mean? Like, because he's gonna use everything he can from a D1 wrestling standpoint, and then he's going to try to use his strength as much as possible. So it's going to have to come down to technique.
And that's where technique comes into play, and you learn strategy, and you got to slow roast those guys a little bit. And just D1 wrestler or not, he's going to get tired doing jiu-jitsu because you're going to control him, right? So
you move so much. I was thinking about this. This is actually a thought that I had over our time of not recording. Obviously I respect wrestling. I wrestled. But I think if you take a top-notch jiu-jitsu and a top-notch wrestler, what Chad just said, you can actually gas a wrestler, even though people are like, oh no, they can go forever. Yeah. Wrestlers are different animals. They're different animals. Like you're kind of bred to fight on a regular basis. I love wrestling. That's why I liked it so much, because I just love to get in there and do it. But I think from a jiu-jitsu standpoint, because the amount of technical ability you have to be able to keep in tune and being on your back at the same time. There's rules, obviously, but in wrestling, you are constricted to certain rules in terms of you can and cannot do certain things. You want to be off your back, so on and so forth. In jiu-jitsu, you can use those to your advantage.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. And vice versa. If you put me in a only wrestling round with like Trace, it's going to be a lot harder because we can't wrestle like we can in jiu-jitsu, right? You have to, unless you're a really, really, really good wrestler, maybe, but got to learn how to do both and relax a little bit.
Did you get did Grove City have a wrestling program? Did you get some wrestlers?
They did not.
Oh, okay.
But being Pennsylvania school,
Pennsylvania is known for wrestling too. I mean, it's not a small sport there.
Ohio, PA border right
That's
there.
what I mean. Like Ohio's known for wrestling too. Like there's a lot of good wrestling schools.
I would have wrestlers come in. I remember the brown belt in judo who was on. He lived in Italy and he was on their national team.
Oh wow.
That was a whole thing in itself. But I mean, I remember getting interviewed by the school paper as like a 3-stripe white belt, and they were like, "How do you feel teaching people as a white belt?" And I was like, "Well, I have 3 stripes on my belt," and they don't know what that means.
Right? Yeah.
Right.
You're like, "I'm not just a white belt; I'm a 3-stripe white belt."
Right.
So,
you know what it took for me to get that stripe?
Yeah.
Yeah.
There was a lot, like I said, a lot of phone calls to Chad, and I don't know if you can speak on that at all, Chad. Like if you remember me calling you or anything.
Yeah, I can remember you either, texting me like, "Hey, can I call you quick?" And I'd still maybe be at the gym just finishing up, teaching at East Coast or something. And we would either text or call, or, I went up there one time and helped him out and taught some classes taught a class, whatever. I think did Logan come? It was like young Logan and Tim Plazak.
Yeah, it was you, Logan, and Plazak.
Yeah.
But,
yeah, it was a good time. I mean, Nate had a Gracie challenge, like some kid challenged him.
Oh, really?
We can next time we're all at the gym, Nate has it on video, so he can show you.
At the whole video.
All right, so you got to tell a story now, though.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. So yeah, like I said, there would be, and you'd get some kind of wackadoos that would show up too because they hear martial arts, and sometimes that can just attract people that are.
Yeah, they want to challenge. Yeah.
Still to this day, I just think because people are people.
I would have people walk in with like their Hapkido black belt on, and I would have to say, "Dude, take it off."
Yeah.
I'd say, "This isn't Hapkido. This is jiu-jitsu." And he's like, "Well, I earned this black belt." And I'm like, "Yeah, in Hapkido, this is jiu-jitsu." So I would have people like they would really get mad at me for making them take their black belt off. I'm like, "Well, I would wear a black belt. I would wear my blue belt to your Hapkido class." You know what I'm saying?
Right, exactly. Not vice versa. Like you'd walk in and be like, "Hey, is there a white belt or is that the belt you start at?" Like, I'm not this in this discipline. You know what I mean? Like, every martial art is a discipline, Aikido and, Jeet Kune Do, all of that. It's all discipline. So however the ranking systems are within those disciplines, that's super disrespectful. Like, no, I earned it. It's like, well, yeah, you didn't earn it in this.
Right. So like I said, like, it would attract a lot of weird people. And this my senior year of college. I had gotten my blue belt the summer before. So I was finally a blue belt teaching, which felt a little bit better. And it kind of felt cool taking it over from Ian, who got me into it. And by the way, I was the only person that was able to tap him out.
Nice. Are you guys still in contact, by the way? Just tidbit in between. Do you guys still text or, social media friends or anything?
Yeah, like when I got my purple belt, I sent him a message and I was like, "Hey man, I just want to let you know I got my purple belt." And we kind of went back and forth, but not too much. He lives in California.
Okay.
So, but the only guy to ever tap him out, and I was able to get that pizza. So
that's awesome.
Him from guard. He was a hard guy to submit. Like he would not let you submit him. But I Ezekiel'd him from guard. Anyway, sorry, I'm
No, you're good. This is what we do on the show. Remember that. Don't ever forget that. This is what we do, man. There is no script. There is nothing. We don't hold anyone to anything. We much rather it be like this. You feel much more comfortable and it's much more better for everyone out there listening.
Yeah. Yeah. So on to the Gracie challenge. So there was this kid, he was kind of in our friend group, like a mutual friend of everybody. And he was a small guy. Like he's from South Korea, but his parents were missionaries. And he lived in Jordan. He's lived in Germany, and like real small dude. and he said he had wrestled at Euros in Germany, and that jiu-jitsu didn't work, and that I was going to get tired out. He basically said he was going to challenge me to a match. He was going to tire me out. He was going to use his wrestling and basically show that like jiu-jitsu is not legit.
Right. And your objective was to tap him how many times? Wasn't there a number or something?
A weird rule to it for a guy that was challenging jiu-jitsu. The challenge was that I had to tap him 4 times in 7 minutes.
Yeah.
And
so he gave you this speculation? What the heck?
Yeah. So like already it's stacked against me. So all he is like he
survive
can get 3 times and still win.
Right.
So it's like, did you win?
Yeah.
Yeah, 4 times in under 7 minutes. That was the rules that got agreed upon. I don't know how that happened, but it did.
Because you were young in college still.
Yeah.
You were like, all right, fine, I'll do it.
This was still when I was a white belt at this point during this.
Oh, challenge. Wow. Okay.
So this guy goes around campus and starts telling everybody. And next thing I know, there's posters being made.
This is awesome.
The board of trustees at Grove City already had it out for us. Like they wanted to cancel our club because they thought we were like human cockfighting or like we were doing MMA.
Oh, okay.
So they kind of got wind of this. They didn't like that. It became this huge thing. And so I show up to the class that night and I was like, we'll just do the mat. We won't do class. Like you can just come and watch this show. But anyway, I ended up tapping him out 6 times in 7 minutes. So I won the challenge. And I mean, the kid had, nothing. And he was so much smaller than me. So I don't know what he would.
I mean, he was tiny. It's not somebody you would think would challenge somebody, ever. Somebody bigger. I mean, it was,
that didn't know jujitsu.
You know what I mean? He was really small. Yeah. But
he was the maddest garbage too. I was like, dude, like personally attacking me. Like,
yeah.
Like beforehand or after?
Yeah. I don't think he was all there.
Yeah. Didn't you get the first sub like really quick? Pretty quick.
13 seconds.
13 seconds. Yeah.
I was mad. I am not a person that gets mad, but I came into that angry because of all the.
Well, you had to. You have to.
Yeah.
I mean, you got to come in with a different mindset because you've already set a goal to be in a certain time frame. And it's like, well, I need one quick. I got to have one real quick. I got it. Basically, I got to score first instantly and then start kind of going from there.
I was nervous too, because it's like, I really had to like believe in my jiu-jitsu. And I was like, if I was
for sure,
it would be easy just to ball up. You know what I mean? So I was like, am I going to be able to tap this guy that quick, that many times? And I remember when I hit that first arm bar in 13 seconds, in my head, I said, it's a wrap.
Like it's over. This kid's got nothing now.
Kept saying how he was going to wrestle me. So I'll show you the video, but there's a point in the video. He said I was going to be gassed and that he was going to just wrestle me like crazy. So you can literally audibly hear him in the video gasping for air at about 3 minutes in. Like he's like, cool as a cute, because I'm used to it. And I remember I stick my front leg out and I tap it and tell him to shoot a single leg. And I was like, that's not me at all. I'm like,
no.
You got me really
This is
bad.
a new Nate that I've never heard of, or I will never see. I know this, but I've never heard of anything like this from Nate. I've known him now for a little while. Nicest guy you can meet.
Need to tap into that a little bit more sometimes, I think. But no, it was cool.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with tapping into that when you need to, and when you need that boost of your own confidence to be there. And sometimes I think people underestimate that outside of those of us who decide to get on the mats and roll around with each other, because people don't understand how hard that is and how much it hurts. I was just telling Logan this week, like one of the hardest things for me right now is because I've been off for so long. It's harder this time than when I first started. Like it's hard. It's not frustrating because I just 2 days this week and I'm like, oh man, some things are already starting to come back. I'm starting to feel some good movement. I'm doing a detox anyway to the inflammation of my body down from having too many carbs and stuff, because my body does not function well with carbs. So that has been a big thing is for me as well. But I'm like, this is mentally, it's hard because it didn't hurt before that much and I was okay. And now I'm like, oh, maybe this is what people experience when they first started, like ever. And they're like, oh, I'm gonna get beat up, because I never felt that. And it's not that I feel like I'm getting beat up now, because I'm also intelligent and old, where I'm not rolling or training with anyone in the gym that's like young or not been there for a while. So that also helps too, because all the guys obviously are super awesome at the gym. But I think it's good. People don't understand that. Like, I think it's good for that boost inside you too, like to go, okay, I still have this, or I can be a little aggressive or a little.
Yeah, there's nothing. I've been trying to talk about that a little bit recently since you just came back, Terry, but there's nothing wrong with having a little edge or a little aggression every now and again, right? The line I said was a little bit of violence is okay, right? Like, I think we need a little bit of that old East Coast attitude sometimes, right? Like, we obviously, and, I preface this, and it's a hard line to navigate sometimes, is we want to be nice to each other. We don't want to hurt our training partners. I'm not going to grind Nate's face or cross face him. But if I need to get away from him, I might push his head into the mat, right? There's a fine line. And I decided that a couple years ago, getting older. I'm still one of the smaller guys at the gym. I can let people work to a point, but I don't want to put myself in position to get hurt either. Because that first guy that I let pass my guard, I get kneed in the head, or I get, whatever. Like, you just have to be careful. And, unfortunately or fortunately, Nate's seen probably every white belt war that I've ever had come at me, right? I'm rolling with a new white belt and here we go. And Nate's there watching. I look over and there's Nate. He could probably tell you a few good ones there too.
I've seen Chad get that edge on him a little bit. Like,
that's what I'm saying. Sometimes you, like, when you feel that aggression or energy and you're like, all right, this guy's not getting it, I'm being nice. Right. And you've probably seen me, Nate. I'll stop in the middle of the roll, like, hey, your head is red, tap.
I remember that. Yeah.
And the guy's like, it doesn't hurt yet. I'm like, oh, right. Okay.
And I think, Chad, like, on that point too, I'm because of my personality, like, I try to be nice to everybody. Like, I don't want to be, and that's honestly, I've let that kind of into my jiu-jitsu a little bit, and I've gotten lazy too. I'm pulling myself right, like blue belt to purple belt, where I'm like, oh, I'll just let this guy work. And now it's white belt passing my guard.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Belt's got full mount. I'm like, in my head, I'm justifying this, saying, oh, I'm just letting him work.
Yeah.
Where in reality, I'm just setting all these bad habits. I'm not a good representative of the rank that I've been given. And it's like, I've always struggled towing that line.
And it goes person to person too. It can, teammate or not, there's certain people you can let work, and some people are going to take advantage of that, and you don't want to get hurt. Right. I've talked to many people about, I'll watch them roll. I'm like, what happened there? Like, why'd you let that person do that? And it's what you said, they're letting them work, or, it's a fine line, Yeah.
I was talking to Jay Stu the other day too, and I was talking because I think it was my wife, was watching me roll with a white belt, and she's like, "Why didn't you go harder against that guy?" It's funny. My wife, anytime she watches, she's like, "You need to go harder. You need to get after him." He's like my coach to get that. I just think it's hilarious, but and I was like, "Yeah, I mean," I said I could have submitted that guy like 7 times, but I'm like, what's
that prove? Yeah.
Sure.
And I was talking to Jay Stu kind of about that, like, hey, like, I'm struggling between, like, should I have submitted that guy? Should I have pushed myself and gone hard or not? And he reminded me, he said, well, what happened to you when you first started? I said, I got my face ground into the mat and just completely destroyed. And he said, would you take that back? And I'm like, no. And he's like, okay.
There you go. That's good. I like that.
I was like, not that I'm going to grind a dude's face in the mat.
No. Yeah.
But because you're a white belt doesn't mean I'm not going to get after it. You know what I mean?
Right.
And like, there's guys too that like my buddy Big Mike, who just started training. I go hard with him. If I'm
you have to.
Is he the young man that we were talking about, the Bible study that was there? Okay. This week. Yeah. I want to hear that story too. We're talking about that story too. So go ahead, Nate.
We'll get that. for sure. But yeah, he's just an athlete, man. And the way he picks up jujitsu, he picks it. I'll show him an armbar, and then I'll look over, and he's armbar and a blue belt. I'm like, dude, I just showed you. Like, what are you doing? But like a Trace is another guy I can go hard with and not feel guilty about it. You know what I
Sure.
mean?
Yeah.
It's important, I think, to have those guys or have that conversation with somebody like before you roll, saying like, "Hey, I want to get after it this roll."
Yeah.
And I mean, it's the level, obviously. You know what I mean? Like if you and Chad roll, you can go a little bit harder in a smart way. You know what I mean? And like with Timmy or Parsons or any and I'm leaving people out, Logan and so forth, so on and so forth. But just throwing guys' names out there. But like you can roll and be like, you can go a little bit harder and they're gonna bring it, but everyone's gonna be respectful and smart about it versus a newer white belt, they're probably not going to slow down until they're gassed or they're done or they're tapped or you're making the other belt a little angry to where they're getting a little more aggressive with you. And then you're like, man, why are you so mean to me? And it's like, well, dude, you didn't chill out. Like I gave you an opportunity to chill out and you kept coming. Like Chad said, like your head's going to explode. It's red. It's turning purple. You should probably tap now. And you don't, you know what I mean? What were you going to say, Chad? I know you were.
I would know. It was this exact same thing you just said. It's going to get better, and you can go harder and faster the higher the rank is. You know what I mean? The more experience you get, and back before COVID, Jay Stu and I used to roll so much together before he got back to this job he has now and crazy hours, and we'd roll for probably 40 minutes, and we'd look around and there's people watching us because we were going after it, right? But we were so safe because of our experience that helped. Right. So that's where I was going to go with it.
Yeah. And I think it's a great teaching thing. It's actually, and we've talked about this before. I don't know that it's an understood thing for people who walk through the door or a white belt. I don't say people walk through the door because I want them to be comfortable and understand, the beginning of what they're getting into. But as they're there for 2-3 months, whatever have you, then they need to start understanding, oh, I don't need to go this hard, which I'm not egotistically saying this, and I've repeated this on the show many times. Fortunately for me, I didn't approach it that way. I approached going, I love this and I'm going to suck at this. And I know it. And so I'll go hard, but I know when to slow down and like relax and like let people tap, like, and I took what what Chad was teaching early on, always with me, and I really absorbed it. I wanted to be coachable. I wanted to listen to what he was saying and go, tap earlier often, or be smart, and it's okay to tap. Like, don't worry about that, and then move on to the next thing, or get, and you're going to get better. And that's how I approached my jiu-jitsu. And I think that helped me always feel comfortable about being there, versus walking through the door.
Yeah. And I mean, you also started jiu-jitsu as a grown man in his 40s.
Correct. That was more
that has
some,
so that's big.
Yes,
that's big.
That's a huge, that is definitely a huge aspect of it. I've had a lot of life experiences before I walked through that door. So, others walk through younger, Nate, you're at college and you get these kids or younger when you were, and that has a lot. And Chad, you've gone through the gamut of having young people walk through the gym and seeing their approach, and they're angry, not because they want to be, because they think it's a fight. They don't really understand it yet. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And those who stick around, then they get it. They understand it. Or, we've said it before many times on the show, they get weeded out or they don't last.
Yep. 100%.
They're the guy with the white belt still going, I can beat you up, Nate. And you're like, tap you 10 times in 7 minutes.
Yeah. Anything jiu-jitsu has taught me that I do not want to fight people.
No. Yeah. I don't want to fight anybody.
It's too much work. I'm like, it's too much work.
And I feel like for men, like a lot of men walk around with a false sense of, hey, I can fight.
I would say if you did a survey randomly, say 100 men, 50, whatever, I would probably, and all of them, every one of them most likely would say, I would say the percentage would definitely be more than 95% of those people out of 100 would say, oh, I could fight. You could do it now. Like people see, ask me, if I have jujitsu stuff on, oh, you do jujitsu. Oh, that's pretty cool. Does it really help you, fight and stuff like that? And I'm like, I don't do it anymore to know how to fight. Like, yeah, I know how to, but it's not why I do it anymore. Like,
Yeah.
probably do it more because I love it, and thank God I'm back. Like it,
Well,
people.
and sadly, I mean, it's not there. It's better than it used to be, but most people hear you say jujitsu and they still think karate, right?
It
You know,
still,
and that's it's way better than it used to be, but at least there's exposure like in mainstream television
sure,
or
yeah,
obviously Joe Rogan's the biggest, probably, you know,
yeah. Him and Jocko,
uh,
I think, are probably the two
cheerleader
biggest.
cheerleader for us, but
Yeah, right.
you're starting to hear it in more shows. Autumn and I were watching where we got hooked on Yellowstone, watching Yellowstone.
Yeah.
And these two girls were fighting, and the one girl's like, I did Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. And I'm like, what? So, you're starting to hear it written into more shows too. So
Yeah, and you're seeing more, let's say, action films. You're seeing more moves being
oh
done
yeah,
in
for sure.
action more than maybe you were, 10 years ago, 5 years,
Yeah,
whatever.
5 years ago even, yeah.
Which is
Yeah.
great. Like, I want the evolution of it to be great, because I think it's important, not only for that. I mean, we can go down that road of health and so on and so forth, but mentally, there's nothing like jujitsu that it changes your life. It does from a
Yeah.
mental standpoint.
I mean, again, Terry and I said it on the show before, and jiu-jitsu is the most, for us that do it, obviously, is the most presence you will ever be in your day, right? Because you can't have a distraction. If I'm rolling with Nate, I have to be in that role, or he's going to over underpass me or crush me or something, whatever.
Yeah, whatever it is, sure.
Throughout the day. And how many of us, I mean, we're watching TV, but we're on our phone at the same time. You're never like 100% in.
Yeah. You're never 100% engaged. Ever.
Engaged in most things. Unfortunately, that's, what we've done to ourselves.
I was going to say, yeah, we've done it to ourselves.
Yeah, but.
And I think too, that's another reason I fell in love with jiu-jitsu is because Grove City College is very academically rigorous. Like it was intense, and that was the first time I was away from home. And I said, for this hour and a half, I can put all that aside, and this is all I
do this.
Yeah,
yeah.
That other part of the addiction for me was just that escape for an hour and a half.
Great,
for sure.
Now it's just something like you were saying, Terry. It's just something that I love. Like it's hanging out with the guys. It's learning something new, and it's cool.
That's Go ahead, Chad.
I was saying Nate did great things for that program. You got him to get like
that's what I was going to ask you.
Good mat. Didn't you get really nice mats, right?
Oh, they bought like 4,000. Like the trustees that hated us.
Yeah.
Funny story. The reason they hated us because the club was used to run by this girl that did Krav Maga.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And the head of the club was this professor who kind of oversaw everything. And he was like got his black belt from Okinawa, like.
Oh yeah.
Like whatever it's called, Shotokan. I mean,
Shotokan,
yeah, Shotokan,
yeah. In Okinawa, like getting like.
Yeah, that's. I mean,
he office and said that karate's not real. It doesn't work in a fight. Just insulted him and his martial art and said Krav is like the real way to go. And then that's when Ian, the blue belt, inherited the club. So that's why we had that like pressure on us that didn't like us. So it took a while of like meeting this guy. And then like Chad said, we eventually got these $4,000 Dolomer mats and
nice.
Guys were competing in local competitions that were
nice.
just trained at our and yeah. It really,
does the club still exist today? Do you know?
I was about that the other day. I'm pretty detached from my college experience now, but from what I've heard, they're still doing kickboxing. It's hard to find people to run grappling like at that meet. So I know they still do like kickboxing and karate. I'm not sure about the jiu-jitsu anymore, but it's still running at the college. So
yeah. Good. And through that, Terry, through that connection, Nate met Dan McCarthy, who we had on the show.
Oh yeah, Dan's awesome, man.
That's how I met Dan, just through Nate.
Oh wow, okay, very cool.
That was a crazy story too. I remember.
Yeah.
I was on this program called Orientation Board, which you move in a week early with the freshmen as an upperclassman, and you kind of run all the events, help them move in, get them acclimated to the campus before like the rest of the student body moves in.
Mm-hmm.
Remember, I'm at this luncheon, and they were kind of like, after they move in, they serve them lunch, and they just told us go mingle with the families, and just talk with them and eat lunch with them. So I'm like, okay, cool. So I see this family, and I go sit down with them, and we get to talking, and the guy was super friendly. I'm like, oh, this is cool. He's like, so Nate, what are some things that you like to do? And I was like, oh, I love Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. I just got my blue belt recently. He goes, oh, cool, I'm a black belt. And I look at him, and at that point, like a black belt was,
Yeah.
Super unicorn.
I don't gotten yours yet at that point.
No, I don't think
So
so.
yeah, to us, like a black, to me, like a, we're not, now that we have like 5 black belts at our gym, it's
Yeah,
like,
right.
yeah, okay, whatever, black belt. Not,
Yeah.
like, but yeah, I look at him, I was like, oh, in karate, right? He says, nope, jujitsu. And I was like, oh, I said, like Japanese jujitsu? He's like, no, I'm a black belt in Brazilian jiu-jitsu. And I remember just my brain and he would end up coming teaching a bunch of like little mini seminars.
Nice.
Then he would take the whole club out to eat to like this super nice restaurant in town, buy all of our food. He's the man. So
Yeah.
That's so awesome.
Yeah. I think
Yeah,
he even
what a
like,
good dude, man.
I think he even texted me at that time and asked me if it was okay if I taught you guys, or he taught you or something, or
because he
yeah.
Porto for a
Yeah.
while. And
Yeah.
he for them, like he said, for Brazilians, teaching another student is like that's theirs is kind of a big deal.
Right.
So he just wanted to make sure, hey, is this okay that I'm coaching your guy?
Yeah.
It was cool how that
Yeah.
connection and
Yeah. It's we're still friends. I finally got to meet him last year and, hang out with him a little bit, roll with him. He's a good dude. I mean, he's one of the best.
OG.
Yeah,
That's
for
awesome.
sure.
Yeah, when we had him on the show, he was phenomenal.
Yeah,
Fantastic,
super. I
obviously.
mean,
Super
yeah.
nice guy,
Yeah.
super knowledgeable, obviously. Very ingrained in the jiu-jitsu community, like giving back and paying it forward and all that kind of stuff, which
For sure.
which has always been
Yeah.
one of the coolest things of the jiu-jitsu community, I think.
Yeah. He's one of those guys that nobody knows who is, and you wish more people knew who he was. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
it's like more people need to know you.
yeah. And he just,
Because-
he's not on social media. He's not, he sends me videos all the time. We're trying to work on getting him up here for a seminar. So
Nice. Very cool.
yeah.
That's
So,
very awesome, man. So
yeah.
tell me this. So tell me this other crazy story of. I want to hear this story of
the Bible study.
Someone challenging you and shirts coming off and all this. So everyone out there is listening. So I just got a premise of this on Wednesday of this week, and I was like, "Yo, hold on, we got to hold this up for the show because we're recording the show." And I was like, "You're going to talk about it." So Nate, I got just set the whole scene, man. I need to know, like, how did this all happen? Were you still in college when this happened, or was this?
No,
This is recent.
I was going to say, was this recent? Yeah.
last year, yeah.
Oh, it was last year.
Yeah.
No, man.
I mean, probably like 6 months ago, maybe, or something like that.
Oh,
but
wow. I did not know it was that early.
Yeah.
And Nate and I go to the same, we go to the same branch of college. We go to the same branch of church. So so that even blows my mind more that it was months ago. Cause I was thinking, oh, when you said it Wednesday or when it came up, I was like, oh, this must be like from a long time ago. Like I could never imagine anything like that happening now. I'm just an old stupid guy that doesn't think anything bad happens anymore like that at Bible study.
Right. Yeah.
So go ahead, man. Set the scene.
It wasn't like in bad, like he wasn't like, I want to fight. He just was kind of, I think he had maybe just started training or wanted to train or something. But anyway, we're at this Bible study and he knew I was into jiu-jitsu. And my buddy Mike, he had just done his first class of jiu-jitsu. He was in the Bible study too. He just got his first stripe last week, which is awesome. So we're sitting there and it was kind of like the end of the Bible study bonfire where we just kind of do a cookout and hang out to kind of like celebrate the end of it. And he goes, Nate, let's go. And I'm like, what do you mean, let's go? He's like, let's go fight. He's like, let's go roll. I'm like, I said, if you want to come to our gym, I was like, yeah, come visit me at my gym. And I said, I'd love to do that. But I was like, we don't need to do this right now in your backyard. I said, I don't want to choke you in your backyard. I said, like, you can't just choke a man in his own backyard.
So see, this is Nate. The little bit of edge came out, Chad. The little bit of edge came out. Like this is what we need to see from Nate more.
It's like me of all people. Like it's weird how this stuff finds me, and I'm like the guy that's like, I don't want to fight you.
Yeah,
right. Like, I think he's lucky that it wasn't like Stinson he was talking to.
Oh Jesus, yeah.
Could you imagine?
No.
At least they're going to be in care if they're with me. I'm not that they would be in care with those guys, but you know what I mean? Those guys are going to annihilate you. But so he keeps egging me on. He keeps egging me on. And Big Mike, who had only done one jiu-jitsu class prior, was like, guys, the only time you should be rolling is on a mat. Like, do not do this. Like, somebody's getting voice of reason after one class. We're packing
That's
up.
awesome. You're leading him well. You're leading Mike well, and he's listening to what he's being taught in class because he's right.
Yeah, he's an awesome guy. I mean, he's the kind of guy you want at the gym. I remember telling Chad that when he first came. I can't speak higher of Mike. He is just such a cool dude. But he walks back inside to get something because we're packing up to go home. And right when Big Mike walks in, I look over and this guy's taking off his necklace. He's throwing off his shoes, taking off his shirt and his hat. He's like, "All right, Nate, we're going." And I'm like, I told this guy no 70 times, so I guess this is on. And all the phones come out, so everybody's videotaping. So we slap and bump. We're in the grass in his backyard. And my plan was, I'm arm drag, take his back, and just tip him over, like dump him on the mat.
And yeah.
Ass and rear naked choke. So it worked. So I arm drag him. I like kind of roll him to the ground, both hooks, fully locked in rear naked choke, right? And I'm squeezing. I can hear him gurgling and like everything. His face is purple. And I'm like, Mark, tap, please tap. I'm begging this dude to tap. And you can hear Big Mike in the video going, "Oh my God." He's like, "Mark, tap." Dude's not tapping at all. And I'm like, in my head, I'm like, you can hear me in the video saying, "Mark, I do not want to put you to sleep in your own backyard. Please tap." Not tapping. So I let go because I'm like, I'm not going to choke this guy out. So I let go. He turns into me and now he's on top of me and he's in my guard. And I'm like, okay, I guess we're still going. Like I just choked you, but we're still going. So I throw up a triangle, deep triangle, same thing. He's gurgling, he's spitting stuff out. His face is purple, not tapping. And I'm like, dude. So his arm's still inside the triangle. So I take his wrist and I double wrist lock.
Oh, the middle head on. Oh, that's so bad.
Like I've got to give him some pain. So I hear a pop, pop, pop. Like I hear his wrist pop like 3 times. And I'm like, I thought maybe his shirt ripped or something because it was that loud. And
Wow.
finally after that, he tapped. And I'm like, dude, you should have just tapped because now your wrist is hurt, bro. Like what?
Yeah.
What are you doing? Yeah. Does he train at all? Is he younger than you? Same age or?
About the same age. And
okay.
I think he just started training in Canal Fulton or Green area.
Oh, okay.
But he was like, yeah, that's my thing. I don't tap.
Well, you're going to have a very short career of training in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu if you don't tap.
Yeah.
You will. I mean, it's inevitable. You will have a short career if you do not tap. Because if you think you're never getting tapped, you're going to get tapped all the time.
Oh, dude. That was that story.
That's crazy, dude. Of all people, this is awesome.
Yeah.
Like I would have never imagined, Nate, that you've like had these encounters of like things happening like this, like from college to 6 months ago. Yeah, I'm with you. I'd be like, what is happening? Like, do I have a sign that I don't see on my like? Do I walk around with something above my head that says, "Hey, come mess with me"?
And I just think, like I said, I don't know why it happens to me, but it does.
It's wild, dude. Super wild.
Yeah.
Man. Well, I mean, hopefully that guy, maybe learned his lesson a little bit, and maybe he'll be better for it. I don't know. I mean, have you seen him since?
I have a few times. He just makes comments. He says, "I can't believe you wrist locked a white belt."
Oh, geez. Well,
hey,
tap on the rear naked choke then.
Wrist lock Wednesday.
That's it.
Yeah. Speaking of Wednesday, I was rolling with Brian Mueller and he like went for one and I'm like, hey, I'm trying to take it easy here. Like, and he was like, "It's Wednesday." And I'm like, oh, come on. I always have to watch for the snake charmers and those that Chad used to do to me all the time. That's good, man. Good stuff, dude. This is what we did. We're at an hour.
Cool.
We rocked out for our first show, Chad.
Yeah,
Good?
it was good.
Not
Yeah, we
bad?
got back into the flow.
Yeah. Feels good to be back, man. Yeah, not doing this. I was not disappointed, but now doing it and talking about it over the last several months, I'm super
Yeah.
happy that we got back into it. I just felt that there was something inside that said, don't quit, man. Don't walk away from this.
Yeah.
You guys
And
need to still
I think like everything we've done with the podcast or whatever, we've done organically and just let things happen like they should.
Yeah.
Cause when Terry stepped back with, family stuff and his kids doing a lot of sports, I had a couple people from the gym and somebody I know that in another state's like, I'll do the podcast with you. While Terry's taking time off, and I'm like, I kicked it around, but I just never committed to it. And there's a reason for that. I just didn't feel right doing it with anybody else because we have what we have, it's a good back and forth. And, we started it together and, we're just going to keep finishing. We'll do it together or we'll just let it die.
Or
right.
just let it die. Yeah.
Yeah. So
that was the question. And what was that December? I think I stopped in, was hanging out.
Yeah. I'm like, what are we doing?
It's
what
like,
are we doing here?
We're letting it die. We're just going to let it die.
And nobody would, neither of us would answer either.
No. And I literally, man, I mean, I would think about it at night. I mean, I'd kind of pray on it. I would think about it. I was like, should we still be doing this? Like, keep pushing. Cause I mean, people out there will be like, oh, podcasting's hard. It's not hard. Podcasting's not hard at all. It's just doing it, like putting forth the effort. I mean, if there's anyone out there listening and they would love to sponsor the podcast and financially, sure. Like we would be more than happy to take on any kind of financial means or donations to the Limitless Radiocast for sure. But podcasting is not difficult. It is not hard at all. I mean, it's a way to hear people's stories and get to talk to them like yourself, Nate. Get to hang out with friends, get to make new friends, network, expand, so that's been,
I think we've learned taking this time off. Also, prior, we were like, we have to release a show every week. We have to be relevant. We have to, because that's what everybody does, right? You have to pump that stuff out. I'm like, well, really, who are we competing with? We're not. If we start making some money, cool, but we're not in it for the money either.
Right, exactly. Yeah.
So now if we don't,
my day job.
Yeah. If we're not, so we're not worrying about dropping a show every week. We'll record them, we'll figure it out, and we'll go from there. So
we'll still be having the great content that we have. And I will say this, I appreciate everyone out there that has continued to listen to our past shows, new people that have come in and listened, because we haven't recorded. I think our last recording was like July something, or June 31st or something like that.
Right.
And we have had honestly, for not having any content, we've had a lot of people listening still to our shows, and there's still been downloads even in all this time. And which that also was an advocate in my own head going, here, like they're still here, man. Like people are still listening. They still want to hear what you guys have and like what you guys are bringing to the table, So.
Well, I mean, it's not like we had 10, 20 or even 50 shows. We got 103 shows.
Yeah.
So that's a lot,
It's a lot of shows. We busted out a lot of shows in little over 2 years is what we did. So
January of 21 was our first show.
Yep. Sure was. Yeah.
Yeah. Your debut in season 3, Nate.
Yeah. Nate, season 3, episode 104 be coming out in a maybe a week. I just got to get this together, and Chad and I will talk about it, and we'll go.
I need a picture of you, Nate, without your eyes closed. something I can use.
Here's a funny tidbit for everyone out there that knows Nate and may find this very funny. Everyone in the gym probably has a picture of Nate on their phone that he's actually put on there himself.
Oh,
because he loves to pick people's phones up and take pictures of his face. And then you go through your pictures and you're like, what the heck? Like, I didn't take this picture. How did this picture? This happened to me. I was like, what is this? I was like, how did Nate do this?
He likes volunteering to take the group picture or whatever.
Oh, yes, that's what it is. And then he snaps one of himself.
Yep.
Classic one.
It's not a bad gig, dude.
Yeah.
Well, hey, Nate, I'm so glad that you obviously are healthy, man, and that you're doing well, that you and your wife are doing well, and everything's on, going forward, and you guys are, things are well. I'm glad about that. And thanks again for coming on. Appreciate it greatly. Get us back in the groove. Obviously, everyone out there that's going to bust my chops, I'll get better at this as we keep going. and Chad is already good at this. So it's good.
Having me, you guys are doing awesome. And
I'm sorry, say that last thing you cut out.
I said buy some Limitless tape.
Yeah, for sure. Buy Limitless tape. and support all of our people, all our sponsors who already support us, like Lanky Fight Gear. And as you can see, I have a shirt on. If you're local, hit up Emerald 13 Tattoo, Jason Haney. Chad's got the shirt on now. He's a great tattoo artist. All of our tattoos that Chad and I have on us have been done, which I sat yesterday for, a few hours and had my leg finished on my tattoo yesterday. And I've already got my next one planned now because yesterday I was like, this is
why
it.
not?
I know. And then when I left, I was like, you know what? I really want this. And I think I'm going to do a whole sleeve from my knee to my ankle on my other one.
Nice.
I need to balance it out. Like,
there you go.
Because I have two full arms. And so, but we'll see. I am, I can't put the age to it because Chad's ordering me and he's still getting them. So I can't use that as an excuse. And I can't let anyone tell me that because I'm like, look, I have friends that are older than I and they're still getting tattoos. So I don't Hey, Nate, anything you want to shout out? Anybody, anything you want to support? Anything you want people to go check out? Anything?
No, honestly, I'd say if you're listening to this and you're thinking about jiu-jitsu, stop by East Coast, get signed up, come say hi to one of us and get training. I mean, if you're looking for a sign to start training, this is it right here. Get in there, training, get some gear. You'll never regret it. It's something I never thought I'd do, and here I am about 7 years later, and it's only helped my life. So,
yeah,
it's awesome, man. All right, guys.
All right.
Until next time, everyone out there, take care. Keep doing what you're doing. We appreciate you guys. See ya.